Hi there everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Richard Turl. I'm one of the leaders of MEC Evangelical Church, slap bang in the middle of Suffolk. If you want to find out more about us, you can head online, find our contacts page on the website, go on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. You'll find us there and you can find out more about us and the church and about the things that we're talking about at the moment. This week we're going to take a look at 5 spiritual dangers. These are particularly applicable to Christians, to personal followers of Jesus, but of course these will be helpful for all people to listen in and engage with. So 5 spiritual dangers, and the one that we're looking at today is the danger of drift. We were at the beach the other day. We found a nice quiet spot, not so many people about, a lovely beach, a lovely day. And strewn across the beach, of course, were little bits of driftwood. We understand that concept, don't we? Driftwood, it just kind of drifts around. It gets blown and pushed around by the elements, and it ends up scattered across the beach. And that's what the Bible talks about. It talks about this idea of drift and the danger of us drifting spiritually, just being blown and pushed around and not really heading in any particular direction, but just drifting away from our roots, drifting away from Jesus. This idea gets picked up particularly in Hebrews chapter 2, verse 1. Hebrews was a letter written to some of the early Christians, and the author there says in chapter 2, verse 1, "We must pay the most careful attention, therefore, to what we have heard, so that we do not drift away." There's a danger, a spiritual danger of drifting, and in the surrounding context, what the author is doing is making much of Jesus, making a big fuss about Jesus, saying Jesus is amazing. Jesus is the one who reveals God to us. Jesus is the one who rescues us from our sins. Jesus is superior even to the angels. Jesus is worthy of our worship. The author makes much of Jesus, and that's part of the antidote to spiritual drift. If you don't want to drift, then you need to see Jesus again, so that you'll draw near to him. Again, that's what the author says, isn't it? We must pay the most careful attention, therefore, to what we have heard. Heard what? Well, they'd heard about Jesus, and the author was now reminding them about Jesus again. And it's as we hear about Jesus that we avoid the danger of spiritual drift. We need to hear about Jesus, and there are many opportunities to do that at the moment. Many of us are pressed for time and energy, but we've got to find little ways of hearing about Jesus. Perhaps these videos or a short Bible reading each day that points us to Jesus, and making the most of our Sunday services where we're in many ways immersed in Jesus, songs about Jesus, words about Jesus, things that remind us about him and help us to avoid drifting. It's like any relationship. In any relationship, when communication breaks down, the relationship drifts, doesn't it? That's what happens. And it's the same with Jesus. We need to keep hearing him. We need to keep listening to him. And of course, speaking to him as well in prayer. Otherwise, we drift. So let's avoid the spiritual danger of drift. Keep listening to Jesus.